Aerialbots. Show them what you've got. One Autobot gave his life so that 6 could be born. He made a choice. The kind of choice I hope they'll be able to make when the time's right. And we welcome you, Aerialbots.
I'm Skydive.
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and welcome to part 4 of our 6-part series featuring the Transformers Age of the Primes Aerialbots. Now, we are almost there. We have done Air Raid, we have done Slingshot, we have done Fireflight, and now we are on the downhill stretch taking a look at Skydive. And I can't wait to jump into his packaging, so let's get started. He is in your standard Transformers Age of the Prime packaging. It's a nice window box, and you can see Skydive in there. You have Autobot symbol 5 of 5. You have converts from robot to plane in 17 steps for 8+. Nice picture of Skydive there in his robot mode and in his plane mode. Transformers Age of the Primes, Aerialbot Skydive, and Hasbro. On the top of the packaging, you have Aerialbot Skydive and Takara Tomy. On the left side, you have 5 of 5 Collect to Combine Superion. He looks so cool. You have Transformers Age of the Primes, Aerialbot Skydive. On the right side of the packaging, you have Till All Are One. And then 3 of the awesome Primes. You have Transformers Age of the Primes, and he's a deluxe class. Coming to the bottom of the packaging, you do have some credits for this packaging, and I'll scroll in. We'll take a look at those and see what that's all about. But we will be moving on to the back of the packaging. And on the back of the packaging, we have Aerialbot Skydive right here. You have 5 of 5 Collect to Combine. Nice product shots of Skydive in his robot mode and in his plane mode. You do have some credits for the box and a barcode. So, barcode buddies, there you are. Here's your chance. Scan it. Try to find this awesome figure online or in the stores. That will definitely help you. But that is it for the packaging. And I don't want to see Skydive in the packaging. I know you don't. So let's get him out and see if this guy comes with a parachute or not. Well, Bots and Books fans, it looks like we have some... What? How'd you know? That's right. We have some out-of-box transformation and assembly to do before we can get started. Now, like Air Raid, his toes are not out, so we have to basically put those out. So we'll open up the feet and bring back this black panel. Pull the foot out like such. Close it back up on both sides. I guess it's the shipping, and it just doesn't fit really well in the box unless you have it secured like that. So anyway, there you go. Pull these wings back if you're so inclined. Pull the arms out. So now he is in robot mode. But we also have to attach this little tail fin right here. And it's very simple. You just turn them around, find this little port right here on the back, and just shove that in there like such. And that will actually give him a little more support to stand in robot mode. But anyway, that is it. We are done. We are ready to start the review. Let's go. And here we have Skydive out of the packaging. And out of the packaging, he stands at 5 1/4 inches tall to his head. If you go up to the top of his nose cone, you got 6 inches. He comes with a set of instructions to transform him from a jet to a robot and from a robot to a jet. And he comes with 2 single blasters, which are really cool, and we'll take a look at in just a moment. But first off, I want to take a closer look at Skydive himself. And coming in real close on Skydive's head sculpt. Now, Skydive always had this weird little orange face, and I'm glad it carries through with the Age of the Primes Aerialbots. And it looks really good. He's got some nice, beautiful blue eyes in there, very stern face. He has a black type helmet covering his head, so that is neat. Let's zoom out just a little bit so we can take a look at his shoulders and upper torso. So yeah, okay, right now I can tell you he is doing it right. We have an Autobot symbol on his chest, unlike we had on Firefly and Slingshot, so I love that. Nice black shoulders made up of black plastic, some gray forearms, and some black hands. I like the color breakup on the figure here. Let's zoom out just a little bit. He's still a little blurry. There we go. All right, middle of the chest, you got your red and your black, so very similar that we've seen with the other Aerialbots. Nice red midsection here, and then you have some consistency in the legs that are all done in black. Zoom out, starting with the hips, and then the thighs, and then the lower legs are done in basically a light gray paneling when you got some black toes. So yeah, he looks really good. Appreciate the Autobot symbol above all else. And then coming to the side, you're not going to have much detail in here. You're just going to have his wing. And then on the back, you have your airplane kibble. And then coming to the right side, you just got some more of the same. And yeah, that is what Skydive is going to look like. Very neat and very G1. All right, moving on. And for our articulation, starting with Skydive's head. Head can go around 360 degrees. You do get a little wiggle waggle in there, left, right. Not so much forward, but backward it can go because of the transformation hinge, and that is cool. Coming to the shoulders can come up from the body, then back down. They can go around 360 degrees. You do have a bicep rotation, 360 degrees there, coming down to a single hinged elbow, which gives you a little over 90 degrees. I like that. There is no forearm rotation, but your hands, unlike the other two, can hinge in and out. It doesn't go all the way around though, so you got basically the air raid hands as opposed to the just painted on hands like Firefly and Slingshot. Coming to the center of the body, you do have 360 degrees of rotation. I like that. And you can always use this hinge to make him look like he has an ab crunch to go down and then back. But that is basically just playing around with the legs, which can come up 90 degrees forward. That is good. 90 degrees backward. That is good because the wings do not get in the way. And then out to the side, a little more than 90 degrees. So that is awesome. Like that. That will bring us down to the 360 degree thigh rotation, and then to the knee bend, which gives us 90 degrees about. And then that will bring us down to the foot, and the foot is hingeable. It can go up and then back down, and then it can rock to the inside, and that's pretty much it for the foot. Again, if you want to mess around with the wings and give him a different look, you can have your wings posted out like this, and he could look all silly, I think. So I don't like that. I always like to have my wings flush to the body, and you know, it's your toy, you can have it as you will, but since it's my review, that's how he's gonna look. And that is Skydive's articulation. Moving on. And for accessories, Skydive comes with a set of blasters, and they're really nicely done. They are a single barreled, but they are sculpted well. They're just black plastic, but you do get a lot of cool molded detail in there, and I think they're great. Now, these are not the same as Air Raid came with, because as you remember, Slingshot and Firefly had the same type of weapons, so I was going to assume that Skydive had the same pistols as Air Raid, but he does not. So let's zoom out just a little bit and bring Skydive in here, and we can affix his weapons to him. Here you go. You can put that in one hand and then bring out the other one and put it in his left hand so he can double wield. That will be very fun. Let's see, we get it in there. Yeah, there we go. All right, so you feel lucky, punks, huh? Do ya? So yeah, he looks really good, double wielding, and these guns are really nice to be able to put underneath his wings as well, and they look good, better than they do on top of a car anyway. Alright, and that is going to be Skydive's only accessories. Moving on. And full comparison, here you have the Age of the Primes Skydive with the G1 and the Combiner Wars. Now, please forgive the G1. He is like 41 years old, and his little legs are giving out on him. But he technically is a little taller than this. But you see the slider has lost its grip over the years, and that's okay. He's all right. We'll just put him off to the side. And taking a look at the Combiner Wars and the Age of the Primes, I like the more proportions of the Age of the Primes. It looks more G1, whereas the Combiner Wars is a little more stylized with his high shoulders and his big knee pads. I don't really mind it. It was different, and we only had him. So with this one coming on, I think the sculpt and mold for the Age of the Primes is more G1 as opposed to the more maybe IDW. I don't really know how he looked in the IDW comics, but I think they were more stylized in their presentation. But anyway, this is going to be your comparisons with your Skydives throughout the ages. All right. And for comparison, here you have Skydive with the Dramatic Capture Optimus Prime, the Studio Series Perceptor, the Legacies Beachcomber, and Cosmos. With the exception of Optimus, all of these bots coming from Season 2, they look really nice. And lastly, for comparison, here we have the Aerialbots so far. Air Raid, Slingshot, Skydive, and Fireflight, and they look great. Only one more to go, and we will have our Aerialbots. And I cannot be happier with the way these guys are turning out and how they look. Alright, moving on. And full transformation. Now, please understand, I don't necessarily go by how the instructions tell us, but by the end of the segment, we get to where we need to be. Alright, if you remember Air Raid in his transformation, then you're going to be able to do this with no problems because it's the exact same transformation. Alright, getting started, what I like to do is fold in the hands like such on both sides and tab them into the side like such. Alright, go ahead and turn Skydive's head around so he can't see what we're doing. And normally there would be landing gear right here if we were talking about Air Raid, but Skydive does not have any landing gear, and that may be problematic later on. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold out these wings here, and then bring the front of the jet up and over. Let's see, there we go, up and over, head snaps into place right good. Alright, now, before we close out these wings, what we are wanting to do is open up the foot. And we are going to tab this foot in on both sides. And then we are going to fold the foot up, and it is going to tab right here with this port right here. Alright, we'll just get that set all nice and good on both sides. Alright, I like that. Now, before we connect the feet, what we're going to need to do to make our lives a little easier is go ahead and just one at a time bring up the back section and accordion it one side at a time in so that you have the top going over these thrusters, and that will actually make it sit flush. So you'll have to work and see if you get that in there, and you'll know it when you hear the pop. There you go. That's one side, and then the other side. Bring it up, accordion it in, make sure it fits right on top of that thruster, like such, and then that will peg in, and then the two sides will connect, and yeah, that is really good. All right, now bring this tail fin around like that. And as far as these back wings, you can bring them up if you're so inclined, or you can leave them down. I think I'm going to leave them down because I think that's how the instructions say, but if not, I think it looks better that way. And here we have Skydive in his jet mode, and it looks good. Let me get it squeezed together and make sure it's all right, and I'll be right back to take a look at it. And taking a look at Skydive in his jet mode, I like it. It is mostly done in this gray plastic. You do get a little bit of silver paint picked out in some panels there. You got the black for the cockpit and a little bit of black for the nose cone. The wings done with that nice lightning bolt motif that he always has. Beautiful Autobot symbols. I like it. And then on the back, you do have your wings. You can put them up or down. I think we'll have them down. And then you have the blue tail fin sticking up with the lightning bolt motif. I think that is great. Coming around to the back, you got your thrusters. Again, like air raids, not picked out in any color, but I think black does them better than white. They look a little more like thrusters there. Coming to the bottom, not too much robot kibble that you can make out. You got his chest there and his Autobot symbol, obviously, and head, but it doesn't really look like a head. It just looks like another panel. So yeah, this is a pretty good looking jet mode, and I appreciate it. All right, moving on. And for comparison, here we have our Skydives in their jet modes with the G1 coming in. And I think the G1's has seen better days. He lost his nose cone somewhere, but I do like that the lightning details are there and the sticker detail. Could the Age of the Primes benefit from stickers? Maybe, but there's a lot of cool detail in here that they would cover up. So the tail fin pretty much the same on these guys color-wise. And yeah, that's pretty much it for your G1. And coming to the Combiner Wars, again, more stylized. I like the gold as opposed to the yellow, but I do miss the lightning bolt because that's kind of his motif throughout the cartoon and other things. So here you go. Yeah, I like the sharper point on the Combiner Wars. Nice softer point here on the Age of the Primes. And I don't like the kibble on the back of the Skydive for Combiner Wars. It's much more cleaner here. And coming around to the back of the planes, pretty negligible here. I do like the molded missiles on the wings of the Combiner Wars, and I think, if I remember right, there was missiles that you could attach to the side to kind of hide that kibble, but it is what it is. All right, and that is going to be your comparisons of the Skydives in their jet modes. All right, and for comparison with his other Autobot companions, here you have them in their alt modes, and they look alright. I like the variety of vehicles that we got in Season 2 of the Transformers. I kind of wish he had some sort of stabilizer on the front. It looks like he has landing gear right here, but it doesn't move. That doesn't come down unless there's a way I haven't found out, and I try to mess with it for a little while, but if he had some sort of wheels right here to kind of set them up, I think that would look a little better, but that is what we got. All right, and that is your comparison with the other Autobots. And for comparison, here you have Skydive with the other Aerialbots, and I'm not sure how, but I got him to kind of stand up. So here he is with Air Raid, Firefly, and Slingshot. The leg bots are here, and then the arm bots, and they look really good together. I love the way this team is forming up. The planes are great, the bots are great, and the combined mode is pretty neat and sturdy so far, but we still got to take a look at that for Skydive, but I think these jets are really cool. All right, and that is going to be your comparisons. Moving on. And lastly, we have one more piece of transform to do before we get out of here, and that is to turn Skydive into his combined mode. Now, Skydive is going to be Superion's left leg, sort of. This is where, like, air raid, we're going to condense him as much as possible, and he's just going to slide into a little slot. So let's go ahead and get him in his combined mode. So the best way to do that is in airplane mode, like all the other aerial bots. So what we will do, fold the wings up, fold this wing up and this wing up, and we are going to take the top of the jet, pull it back, and bring it down like we did in the original transformation to robot mode. And then we are going to condense it further by taking the nose cone, bringing it back, and accordioning it down like such. And now we are going to take Skydive's head and put it in this little slot. And there you go. That is going to be all you need to do to turn Skydive into his combiner mode form. And like I said, he is just going to slide into a big rectangle for the leg of Superion, and you're just going to see the back of him like that. And that's really cool. That's G1, and I don't have an issue with it. All right, so that is Skydive's combiner mode. Moving on. And this has been part 4 of our 6-part series featuring the Transformers Age of the Primes Aerialbots. And tonight we took a look at the deluxe class Skydive, and I thought he was a very good Transformer, very true to his G1 self. I like the sculpt and mold that they used to make him. Unlike the Combiner Wars, he wasn't very stylized. He just was your basic Aerialbot, and I like that. The paint that they used was good. I love the colors on him. Nothing to complain about in that respect. Mostly done in colored plastic, but that won't wear off, so I like that concept. No problems with his articulation. It was good. He could twist and bend and move in all sorts of different directions, and he's not hindered by his wings. His accessories of the 2 blasters was great. I didn't have any problem getting these particular styled blasters in and out of his hands, so yay for that. And his transform was very simple and easy to do once you've mastered air raids, because it's the same one. And it's going to be the same one like we talked about with Firefly and Slingshot being the same, because it's the same design, and they've done enough with the design to change around the colors and the molds of the jets and the bot's head to make it unique and different. So I appreciate that. And that's pretty much it. He was a great addition to the Aerialbot team. Very happy to have him. And that's pretty much all I got to say. If you're looking for Skydive, he is on the shelves right now, and you can find him for approximately $27 to $30, depending on where you pick him up. So if you're looking, happy hunting. And that's it, guys. That is the review of our Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Skydive. Tune in next time when we take a look at the big boss man himself, the Commander Class Silverbolt. And he will be our last Aerialbot. Yes, we are almost done with this series. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you and hope you have a good night. And until next time, keep playing.
Another day, another adventure.